like a jerk. Oh, Tori, what's up, girl? How are you?
I'm good. That's such a good intro, Al. I'm still so impressed. Hello,
I
colleague.
love. What's up, colleagues? Yeah, I love. I like the old intro song, but that's a song for a video I made called. I made it. I named it after Sam's son. It's called "Booked with Miles," and it's about traveling.
Oh,
Yeah, so like,
oh,
so it's just been sitting in the archives. So
it's
yeah, so
great.
that's I have just hundreds of hours of video that I've just made and never done anything
It's
with, like
really
a
cute.
true psychopath. Um, but yeah, it's things are good. SAR is working from home today, so that's why my shot looks so good. Um, I'm so proud. She went on a hiking trip with her friend Audrey. We talked about that yesterday, and she was so sore. You know how like when it catches up with you at
I can't.
first day back from the gym, but like you went way too hard, and you're like, oh no. Yeah, so we've been rehabbing a little ice. She won't let me put the icy hat on. She's like reading directions for the icy hat. I'm like, put it on. But she's like, no, you can't do it after you've put an ice pack on. I'm like, no one reads the directions for this. You just don't put it in your mouth or your eyes, and I think you're good.
No, I would read the directions too. I feel so bad. I was going to go on that trip, but I just don't have the stamina. I
I
just
I
don't.
think that's why you're sitting upright right now. So
But
I
I,
told her I was like really proud of her. Like they were doing like the sand dunes, and like they had to get those shoes that's got the metal spikes on the bottom. Like they were doing some. I'm like, dude, I don't. That's craziness. Good for them.
good for them. Only one K Drennan says, "Yay! I made it to a live podcast. I'm at PT right now, so I don't know how long I'll be able to listen, but I'm here. We are so thankful for you to be here. We are wishing you well in your PT. Um,
Yes.
so thank you guys for showing up and being here. It means a lot to us.
I physical therapy and occupational therapy. I just think the people that participate in that and the people that go through it, I think it's such a like obviously you're probably rehabbing from something that was pretty traumatic, but I think the daily or biweekly progress that you see, like the it's more in tune to what real life looks like. When
Yes.
you watch movies, it's just like I broke my arm, and then 2 scenes later they're ready for the big match. It's
Yeah,
like that's what it is. It takes a long ass time,
it
but it's
does.
worth it when you
It
get
is.
back to where you want to get. So shout out,
And
good
that
luck in
is
your PT.
And that is Karen, guys. Karen is a loyal watcher. She wrote me about a GoFundMe. She was in a really terrible accident, which I assume is why she's in PT right now. Michael Dean, if you have the GoFundMe that I sent you, or don't, I can resend it to you so we can show it today again. She's needing to get some more people involved, and we always want to help out our colleagues. So we are going to show that GoFundMe, $5, $1, $20, whatever you can, help out a colleague in need right now. She was in a bad accident, and we want to help out as much as we can.
Yes, well, that's a beautiful thing, and I obviously not the accident, but just the family
Yeah.
that surrounds, because that's how we. I'm telling you guys, Tori, as I scroll
Oh, there it
through.
is, guys. Thank you, Michael Dean, for doing this. Karen Drennan, you guys can look that up on GoFundMe. And she's fighting to get back on her feet. So whatever we can do as friends from work, we are hoping to help you out, Karen. We really appreciate it. Barry Benz wrote, GoFundMe a fart. Appreciate that.
I don't know if you needed to read that. I don't know. You like really know how to pick the comments,
What
but you know what? You know what that person did? Is it leads directly into, I'm the master of transitions. And
Yes.
what I wanted to show you, because obviously we've got some heavy topics today, but there was one last week that we did not get to. And we like to cover all our bases, and we usually don't get political this early on. But did you see the White House meeting that Trump had in the Oval Office that was put on by the dairy industry? It was
No.
maybe Tori, there was just a 2-liter gallon of milk on his desk, and he's like surrounded by those people behind his desk, which is always so weird. and he's talking about milk. It was so weird. But Tori, you know, as you do sometimes, and I'm guilty of this. Sometimes, Tori, you go to sleep. Now,
Oh, did he? Is
what?
that the one where he fell asleep?
Yes,
Yeah, I saw.
and then he farted and scared a little girl.
Yeah.
Okay, well, let's show the audience because we need to have some joy in this world. So let's do this right here. Don't worry, I use the magnifier to show people's faces because I'm a jerk. Okay, let's do it.
It is a bipartisan issue, and understanding where we are in this country and how important the health of certainly our children are.
He's dead sleep to kick it off, which I went too fast to upload this. And he farted, and the way that you know he farted is how wide her eyes got. It's like when a little girl sees Santa's village for the first time and her eyes light up. And she looked to an authority figure. Like, that is a fart. When you have to talk to somebody that raised you to be like, is that what I think? Okay.
And then he also got up and looked over his ballroom when they were discussing Greenland, even though you can't see the ballroom from the West Wing or from the Oval Office, and farted again on the mic. It was just a hot mic, picked it up. So I wonder if he went over there to fart. I can't believe I'm saying so much.
And we've all done that before. Like, usually what what I used to do on, like, if I was on a date or with friends or something, I would just get out of the car and like pretend to get something out of the trunk. I'd be like, you know, I think I left my galoshes back here. No, they're not in there. Anyway, let's you got to do a quick lap, make sure nothing follows you.
Yeah.
Yes. All right. Well, Tori, before we get into the heavy news of the day, let's do a quick recap. So let's do this really early today. Tori, the Indiana Hoosiers took it last night. National champions. What were your thoughts?
I have a dear friend of mine who works at Universal. She's the head of publicity for Universal, and she is a diehard Indiana fan. And when I saw that touchdown from that quarterback going in and hitting another player to get in, and then his mother, who is in a wheelchair, his father never stands up whenever there's a good play because she can't stand.
Oh, that's beautiful.
Yeah, it's a beautiful way that they celebrate. He stays down with her. And then he went over to his mom and gave her a big hug, and he got emotional. So big day for the Hoosiers.
Indiana Hoosiers. That's right.
Do we know
Michael Dean, will you find out what a Hoosiers? I feel like I've known like 3 or 4 different times in my life, and I do not know.
Yeah, I did know, and now I don't know. But that was Mendoza, that's his name. Yeah, he is unbelievable, and she is going crazy. She went to the game, went to like the alumni thing. She was with a bunch of people. It was a great game, and then a great ending. And I don't know, Mendoza just has like a story behind him with his parents. Oh, a Hoosier is someone from Indiana.
Oh, is that just what it is? That's what that's what I always thought it was, but I thought maybe, you know how like a Maryland terrapin is a turtle? I thought it maybe was something else. But yeah, I've heard people say, yeah, I'm a Hoosier through and through. I didn't realize that. Okay, good. We learned something today.
It came maybe from potentially derogatory frontier slang for a rustic person into a source of regional pride. Way to go.
But isn't that kind of how a lot of things happen? You take back I mean, look at, and I remember I've talked to Michael Dean about this, about the term queer, and how that was a derogatory term, and that community took it back.
Good
but
point.
Also, it does have that interesting layer where it is generational, because there are older people that see queer as nothing but a slur, and that is burned into their head.
Right.
And younger people like, no, we're taking the power back. And I remember the same issue happened with rappers using the N-word. Obviously not the hard ER, but you know, when people my dad's age would be like, why would you ever let that come out of your mouth?
Right.
But there were rappers that are saying, you guys don't understand, we're taking the power back. We own this now. So there's so many different reasons why even original derogatory slang takes on a different meaning with a different generation.
Yeah, like boss bitch, kind of a different thing too. But I do want to say that, I do want to say that there was a famous interview with Oprah, and she had Jay-Z on, And they had a really open discussion about how she absolutely could not say that word and how he could and why. And it was just a generational kind of difference. And it was a fascinating conversation. Sorry, I'm off topic, but yeah, it's Fernando Mendoza, excuse me. And Al, they started the whole stadium singing, "Do you hear the drums, Fernando?" which is an ABBA song. And one of the lyrics is, "There was something in the air that night, the stars so bright, Fernando." And so they all started singing that. And I thought, wow, that's a great moment.
You know, the absolute weirdest thing about him is he seems like a disarmingly nice guy.
He's like the most
Like
nice,
he is almost like Ned Flanders with his language. He's like,
well,
gosh darn it, we saw that first down and we said we're gonna get that flipping thing. And it's like, I love this guy. Like no one,
right?
Yeah, you know what?
Man.
It's like when everybody curses or speaks like we're gonna take Tory's team and demolish them. Like a lot of people talk like that. A lot of coaches talk like that. But what if somebody just said, "We're looking forward to a spirited battle with Tory's team and may the best combatant win"? You'd be like, "Oh, I'm terrified. This person is a killer." Like when you're just, yes, the most improbable. And just to put a fine bow on this, Tory, if there was a movie 5 or 6, 10 years ago, 3 years ago that involved the Indiana Hoosiers winning the national championship, YouTubers and sports fans would have demolished it to the point where because it's the most improbable thing. It would be like me and Tory winning a 2-on-2 basketball tournament. It could not happen, and they did it. So I don't know how, but shout out to Indiana and shout out to their coach, Kurt Signetti. He did the damn thing. He talked not even smack. He's very confident when he speaks, and that's also intimidating. And he followed up on it. So shout out. I know that they are partying in Indiana. What great year they've had for sports there, you know?
Seriously.
Yeah.
There was something in the air that night.
Hey, and just for that, we're gonna have to do this. Oh, Tory with the green sweater. Let's have a little chit chat because there was an incident in St. Paul, Minnesota. That's right, Tory. We're talking about Minnesota. I know it's shocking to you. And it was kind of a conflict between civil liberties and law enforcement tactics based on the reports involving Chong Lee, who goes by Scott Tao. The breakdown, and there's two different perspectives of this, was whether this was a failure on the law enforcement's part to properly vet the target that they were going after, or that they illegally violated this citizen's rights while he was in his home. Basically, Tory, they went into this older gentleman's home, removed him while he was in his underwear in front of his grandkids, cuffed him, took him out, and then drove him around for hours, humiliatingly so, in his underwear. Now, let's look at both sides of this. The argument about whether this was an unacceptable failure. I want you to listen to both sides and then tell me what you think. People are saying that it was an intelligence failure, that they targeted the wrong home, the wrong sex offender. First of all, get your sex offender right. Don't involve me in that and then be like, "Oh no, we got the wrong guy." You already didn't put my name next to it. Now that's on the internet forever. Plus, you came to my crib.
And it was -9 degrees, by the way. I appreciate that, Jag. Yeah, keep going. Sorry.
Yes, that needs to be said. -9 degrees. Took him out, handcuffing him in front of his grandchild. He was in, like I said, he was in underwear, and driving him around for an hour, which was on purpose and just inhumane. There's no way that, what are you, lost? Is there a bunch of traffic? What's the hour for? Even if he was said sex offender, that's not, you have a right to be transported, a right to be read your rights, but they can't just humiliate you for seemingly no reason. Now, DHS defends its actions by saying that these officers are in high risk situations, Tory, and basically S happens. So what do you think about this? Because it seems like a clear violation of the Fourth Amendment.
And the Fifth Amendment. And the Sixth Amendment. He rack them up. You know what I mean? Yeah, this is happening more and more in Minneapolis. And I was in the car and I was actually listening to NPR, and they had a Minneapolis police chief, come out and say, Al, that they are hearing an enormous amount of calls that the ICE agents are breaking their civil rights. And it's now happening to actually undercover police officers or off-duty police officers. So this, and that every single one of the police officers has been of color. And so at one point, this woman who was a cop was surrounded, and guns were drawn. They asked for her papers. She didn't have papers because that's like Germany in 1938. And
I think that it's being phrased that way because of that. They want to harken back to a time where you could ask somebody that appeared to be of foreign descent, at least to you, to just say, where are your papers? Do you deserve to be here?
Yeah, we don't have that in America. That's not, you need probable cause to stop someone, you need a warrant to get into someone's home. You need a reason. You can't just see a color and say, that's what I want to go after. And so
I learned that with Macy Gray in what was it? What was the movie that Denzel and Ethan Hawke were in?
Oh, Training Day?
Yeah. Macy Gray was that woman, and she's like, I need to see that damn warrant.
Yeah.
Where's that warrant? She played such a cool character on that.
She was. And even in Jay-Z's song 99 Problems, I'm going to need to see a warrant for that. When he talks about the trunk of the car being open.
Right.
This is happening so often now with violations of severe civil rights. And now it's happening to cops, that the cops are coming out and saying, if it's happening to our police officers, we can't imagine what our citizens are going through that don't have the resources to make a statement. So I do think there will be lawsuits. I do think there will, at some point, could be a class action, like Michael Dean says. But that individual was scraped up on his knees, on his thighs. So absolutely has a lawsuit on her hands. Not that the judicial branch is really doing very much, but that's his right to go after the ICE agents. And there's, lack of training. You could say these guys are filled with testosterone. They're angry. They're not paying any attention. And
that's your problem.
Right. And it's all because of the riots. They were trying to solve crime. Meanwhile, Minnesota is in a 30-year low of crimes. So it's just someone threw the ICE agents in as like gasoline, lit a match, and they're like, let's try and calm it down. Nothing like that has happened. And it has only ramped up into citizens.
Well, what I've kind of thought about, because I do think that initially this was just going to be the plan: send ICE in there, let them bust some heads up, get the citizens upset, and then use the Insurrection Act, and then use that as a template to slow down or halt voting in blue cities. Because like we said yesterday, you can't stop voting all around, but they don't want voting to be stopped all around. Certain cities, they do want it halted. But what I think they did not account for, and what I did not account for, and I only put it together after listening to multiple reports, people on the street, Minneapolis citizens, is that they were like, we went through this with George Floyd.
Yeah.
So they kind of had a run through of like, hey, let's not destroy a bunch of buildings because that gives the authorities permission to do this. They're like professional protesters.
They're prepared. Yeah, they're prepared. Yeah, and they know what they're doing. And the local police, again, which we've said, is starting to turn against the federal agents. So once you have the local against the federal, you have a real tense situation in which now they're sending paratroopers in. It only escalates. It never de-escalates with these guys. And so, and then I forgot to tell you, the cop that spoke out at a press conference said, when the cop took out her phone to record this situation, they knocked it out of her hand onto the ground so she couldn't record it. It's just civil rights, schmivel rights. I mean, it's as if the Constitution doesn't matter. Yeah, the Bill of Rights doesn't matter. If you're brown, you're getting stopped or pulled out or detained or asking for your papers. And as I said before, never in the history of ever have guys in masks asking for your papers ever been the good guys. So it's
Tori, let me ask you a question that's not on the rundown today, but it's something I've been thinking about a lot.
Yeah.
This at some point will because there's a period where it seems like nothing comes to an end, but this will come to an end at some point. But what do you think the lasting long-term damage will come from not only just citizens of Minneapolis, but just every citizen, including myself, that I've been saying for, it started off jokingly because anytime I would do something and Sarah would be like, we can't do that. It's not Tuesday. I'd be like, there are no laws. Trump is president. I would be joking, but I kind of meant it. But now it's real, because if you can kick in the door with no warrant, drag somebody's granddaddy out in his underwear, if you can blind a 21-year-old protester, if you can detain American citizens, if you can take a college student from Texas, hold her for 2 days at Logan Airport, and then deport her to Honduras. Where the hell did they send her to? Honduras. And yeah, she's still not back, as far as I know.
Yeah.
If you can do that, then there are no effing rules, Tori. So if there are no effing rules, when do we ever get effing rules back? And how do we as citizens believe that there's rules again? Because clearly we walked around for 48 years thinking that there were, and I was mistaken.
What's important at hearing about that police chief in Minneapolis is that at some point, the people of Minneapolis have to believe that the police are also on their side, because their own cops are getting stopped and ID'd. And so I'm glad he made that press conference to separate themselves from ICE agents. Very happy he did that. But I do want to say, Michael Alwood, who says, so when police ask your ID, I bet you two complain and say die to cops. No, but I would ask what the probable cause was for stopping me, because that's my constitutional right. I don't know when the MAGA people who said don't tread on me are fine dragging people out without probable cause or their civil rights to be U.S. citizens. Don't tread on me. They're taking you out of cars. They're taking you out of your houses, and they're treading. There's a lot of treading going on that is against the 4th, the 5th, the 6th, and the First Amendment, which I would think you would hold close to your heart, being a Republican and a constitutionalist, that would be important to you. But no, I don't get it. So don't tread on me, guys. There's a lot of treading going on here without unconstitutionality.
Yeah, it's just interesting, and
I don't get it.
I also don't get, like, and whatever gentleman just made that comment. Why not engage in like a real conversation? Yeah, because I'm asked for my ID quite often. I told you when I went into that bar in Steamboat, I was asked for my ID. I didn't tell that person to die. I don't mind offering my ID, but sometimes when you're offering your ID and it's thrown or kicked out of your hand, or when you say that I am an American citizen and they tell you to shut up and slam you on the ground, I think it's fair to ask questions. And I wonder if that person—
And that's your right. And that's your right as an American citizen and a human being.
Well, Tori, Donald Trump would say that it was his right to leak texts that he got from Macron. Did you see this story that he's leaking texts? He posted private messages from world leaders and said that there's no going back on Greenland, which is a phrase that I never thought I'd hear in my entire life. There's no— look, we are committed to Greenland. What? While hinting about future talks that are coming up in Davos. So, Tori, what do you see the strategy in this type of diplomacy? And should you ever post text? Let's forget Trump for a second. Is it always a weak move to post screenshots on social media?
Yeah, especially with allies, especially like major European allies. Today is the first day I'm starting to see in the newspaper, and I'm starting to see online, and we're starting to see people talk about NATO issues and Europe treating America like an enemy. We're seeing people united in Europe because of this Greenland issue. We're now seeing from Eric Swalwell, from Ed Markey, these are senators. They have invoked and asked about the 25th Amendment. Now, if you don't know what the 25th is, that is when you believe that the president is not okay or of not cognitively there, and the vice president steps in. Trump had sent a message saying to to Greenland, because your country denied me the Nobel Peace Prize or a vote for it, I will not be looking into peaceful solutions. And from response to this was from 3 different senators already, and these are major senators on major committees, that they are now asking for the 25th Amendment to be invoked because the mental decline is there. Because I didn't get a prize, I'm going to come in and steal your country.
But it's not their country. That's Denmark.
Right.
Do you think he knows that Denmark and Norway are different countries, or do you think he's mashing them together like 2 different colors of Play-Doh?
I don't think he's well versed in foreign policy in terms of this, and
foreign policy.
or
That's not foreign policy.
But yeah, they
what?
I'm when asked today, why do you need Greenland when you already have a military base that you could expand? He then said, because I don't want Russia and China to have it. He doesn't want them to get the minerals. He doesn't want them to get the oil. And the idea that another country can come in, so you're going to get it first, also doesn't follow the engagement of our foreign policy and NATO. And Denmark has allies, and if they start in
well, they're in NATO, so yeah, they got allies.
Yeah,
it's like being in the Avengers.
If one thing starts, then it all starts to come over, and now we're in a world war because we wanted to take Greenland in without any kind of like actual legal right to do so. The people of Greenland have spoken up. They're marching. The people of Denmark have spoken up. So at some point, this Greenland, I do want to say, has been the most Googled thing, and it has overtaken the Epstein files as the most Googled situation.
And maybe that was by design.
Right. I totally agree with you.
All right, Tori, I'm going to play this, and it's because I think we're going to go off track a little bit, and I think we might get into a little bit of conspiracy Al. Okay, here we go.
Oh, boy.
All right, Tori. When we step back and we look at everything that we have going on, you look at us constantly threatening our longtime allies. We look at the attack on the fundamental rights of American citizens. You look at the destabilization of the dollar. How crazy is it that if Trump isn't a Russian asset, he is something very much adjacent to this? Because what would a Manchurian candidate do? Destabilize a country internally, destabilize them financially, and separate them from their long-time allies, the EU. Now the EU is without the United States, and now Mr. Putin can go rolling into Poland, as it seems like he's been interested in doing for a while, and he does not have to worry about the United States being there, because the United States seems like it's in self-destruct mode. We're tariffing Canada, even though there are federal laws protecting Canada so that we cannot do that. So we just piss them off. What else would you ask for if you purposely had a Manchurian candidate trying to destabilize your biggest ally? What has he not done?
Well, I disagree with you on this. I think Trump is not a Russian agent. I think he loves Putin and sticks his face in his ass because he likes dictators and he thinks they're strong, like Kim Jong-un. I don't think he's an agent. I think he's a narcissist. He even spoke out today against Putin. He said, I love Russia and I love Putin. I'm angry with Putin right now. But I don't think he is an agent. I think this is all for oil, for minerals. This is all for somehow America first.
For whose oil? Because we could have negotiated trade deals with Denmark. They're in NATO. We didn't have to take it there.
Yeah.
Like why would we just took Venezuela?
Yeah.
It seems like we have access to oil there. There's oil here in the United States. We definitely, considering the $2 billion deal that we did, that Jared Kushner was the beneficiary of, that no one talks about anymore. We should have some access to the oil in the Middle East. I don't know if oil is at the center of all the, it just, you know me, I go back to that weird meeting that last time that Putin was here, when he had U.S. troops on their hands and knees rolling out a red carpet. Putin came, spoke for a second. It's supposed to be an all-day thing, and then he just dipped. And all the Trump cabinet people were on camera looking like they had just watched a snuff film.
Yeah.
Like they looked like they had seen something that rattled them. And clearly Epstein was in communication with the Kremlin. Epstein has information on all of these people, including Trump, who was his best friend for 14 years. You're telling me he ain't got one photo? He got 19 photos of Woody Allen. He ain't got one photo of this dude he almost coming out. Come on, dog. That dog don't hunt.
I don't think he's in with the Russians. I just think that he wants to be one, to be super honest with you. I think he likes the tyranny in which Putin reigns and the power. I think it makes him look like a big man, big man. So I disagree with you on that, but I definitely think this is all about the pockets. With Trump, there's one thing and one thing only, and it was the intro to his Apprentice show. Money, 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 money. And I think
that.
I don't know, but it's good.
Was that Cool in the Gang?
I think so. That's very, very.
First of all, Cleveland's own Cool in the Gang. Let me just
is that true? That's
so
true. Someone asked, what is the fundamental rights of illegal immigrants? Just so you know, the 10 Bill of Rights also applies to non-citizens. So they have every right of those 10 that we do, just so you know. It never says this applies only to American citizens. So
right. And Tori, correct me if I'm wrong. It's written like that to prevent there being citizens that, well, twofold. One, that there wouldn't be people in this country without rights that could be, attacked without, any type of worry about the law coming after them. So they could be, victims of being trafficked or whatever. But if you're not a citizen, what is the law going to do? So they did that to protect them. And also those people that are in this country, if they are aware of a crime that has occurred or is occurring, you want them to feel safe to come forward to say, hey, this is happening in my neighborhood without fear of retribution from the government. So that is also protecting people that are actually citizens in this country, because you don't want people to see and know things, but be scared to speak up because it might be a detriment to their health or their standing in this country. So let's move on, Tori, because I wanted to get your thoughts on this, like a little bit of, we're talking about politics. Tori, what did you think about this story that Josh Shapiro claims? A guy that you love, you think could
Pennsylvania governor, who I think has an enormous future in this country.
Yes. What do you like about him?
I call it the Mamdani effect, but he gets it. He knows how to play social media. He knows how to talk in short, digestible statements. His house was burned during Passover, just so you know, in an anti-Semitic attack. But Shapiro gets it in the way Schumer doesn't. He brings the right things to the right fight. And he is bold, strong, young, and full of energy. And I
didn't think that's where you were going. Full of energy.
And he's Jewish, and it's very hard for as a Jew, it's very hard for a Jewish politician to be. There's a lot of anti-Semitic. I mean, the rise of anti-Semitism has been there, and he has stood by and stood for the Jews in this country. And so he's a powerful man with a powerful backing. And Pennsylvania is a swing state that we absolutely need. So he is at the governor of an incredibly important state. Even look for him for VP. But look for him in the future.
That's the story I wanted to talk to you about, because the Harris campaign was looking at him and vetting him to be VP. And he says that the Harris campaign asked him, are you an agent of Israel? And I don't know anything about being agents, but I think if they are and you ask them, they probably won't say yes. That's all I know. That's all I know about secret agents is they don't go, you got me. Who told them?
I'm not.
Tori cannot hold water. I told her, stop putting that under my Instagram bio. Tori, what? If you do think they're an agent, don't you have means to investigate that?
You would obviously think. Now, just so you know, Mossad and people in Israeli intelligence and agents of Israel are some of the best trained and best in the world. And so I don't think if he were, he wouldn't answer that. But it's also slightly insulting that he would have been asked that. I understand you're vetting, but somewhat odd question to ask someone because they're Jewish. Are you an Israeli agent?
Maybe that's what vetting is you just get it over with. It's like you don't hire, any kind of, private investigator.
Yeah.
You just ask them everything. Are you the biggest drug dealer in the Southern Hemisphere? No. Good enough for me.
All right. That's good. Check mark. Let's move on.
Okay.
It also just shows the disorganization of the Harris campaign. Because that was
going to be my question. What was her, because you would know that this would have to be insulting. If I had to ask somebody like this, I would sneak around and try to not let them know if I was trying to figure this out, even though I would vet them and see if they're an agent of anywhere.
Sure.
To see if they have any skeletons in their closet that would come out on the campaign trail and destroy our campaign. That's very fair to leave no stone unturned. Please, totally. that would be the smartest thing to do. But what do you think her goal was with this?
I think they were, and I think Michael Dean said it really well. I think they were asking if he's beholden to a certain country other than the United States. And Michael Dean just wrote in and said there was a ton of concern that John F. Kennedy would be beholden to the Pope since he was the very first Catholic ever elected to presidency. And there was concern of who is your first loyalty to? Is it to your religious base? Is it to your homeland? Or is it to America? It's just odd that they just went up and asked him. I think you can go about
that is odd.
So I think
this is a random question, but you are a legal eagle, so I can ask you this. If a cop is an undercover prostitute, why do they not have to tell me if I ask them? And it sounds like this is a problem I've had several times. This is very hypothetical. So how come hypothetically last Thursday, I was lied to?
Oh man, that's
but so yeah, what does this have to, when it comes to undercover work, do you I know you don't know all the protocol, but are police officers allowed to lie here in America? I don't know about how secret agents work, but here in the States.
There is you're absolutely allowed to lie, especially when you're questioning someone. That is absolutely allowed. But there is a line there called entrapment, in which you can't legally get everyone involved, not explain what's going on, and then get them in trouble. But at some point, undercover is legally protected, and they do not have to say, "I'm undercover." So I don't know the ins and outs and all of that, but there are certain rules like entrapment that you have to be careful with, but undercover police have a strong leeway because they can legally lie and they can legally serve and try to protect. But I don't really know the ins and outs. I don't want to speak out of turn.
All right. Well, Tori, we're going to wrap up this politics because I'm done talking about it. But I do want to run this past you that polls are saying that Americans are against military intervention in Greenland. And it seems like the polls have really been letting the current administration know that what they're doing is wildly unpopular. Why do you think that it's still not being even ramped down a little bit? Why do you think this is still going on, even though it seems to be wildly unpopular, even with a lot of their Republican constituents?
Two reasons. One, Epstein files. I think there needs to be a distraction, and he wants to do anything to take it. So it doesn't matter that the majority, and you're absolutely right, Al, majority of Americans do not want to escalate this into Greenland. They don't understand it. They want to fix the economics at home. That is their main priority. Bacon and eggs, get my gas, get my groceries, get affordability down. We don't need to be spending all this money going into Greenland. That is the clear will of the people. Second, when you have someone like Stephen Miller in your cabinet, and he wants to, and said this to Jake Tapper, spread America as wide as possible and their power across the world, you are living in a different way of foreign policy. And it's not, I'm going to protect the world, or I'm even going to not protect the world. It's, I'm going to take over the world. And that is Stephen Miller in a nutshell. And that they want to expand and take over. So Jake Tapper was asking Stephen Miller recently about this, and he went on and on about World War II and how America apologized for taking things and they shouldn't have. And Jake Tapper was like, I don't understand what you're saying anymore. But you just look at Stephen Miller's policy. This is screaming Millerism, which is a type of, I will take what I want without asking, without judges.
Well, he actually said, if you can't defend yourself, then you are at risk of being taken.
Yes.
And there was, I believe it was a member of the Denmark cabinet said that's the exact thinking that somebody that commits SA, that assaults women, would say. If she's not strong enough to fight me off, then what am I supposed to do?
Yeah, it's exactly right. And it's something that I promise you the majority of Americans do not want. They just want their eggs to be less expensive. They don't want that. But again, Trump likes to have chaos in many different areas. So Venezuela, we have Greenland going on. We have the Minneapolis situation. Meanwhile, he's farting around and we can't even get our heads around what's happening hour to hour to hour.
Yeah, but this is year one of his presidency. Like, he's got 3 years. He can't distract from the Epstein files for 3 years. Like, I don't know if there's an end game, but it just seems very. I don't know if they know, quite frankly.
Yeah, I mean, I think they're rolling with it, and he's putting out texts and finding things in Truth Social at 1 a.m, and people are waking up and having to figure that out. But a lot of this foreign policy is coming from one man named Stephen Miller, who even Trump said he can't tell him his real opinions because they're so awful. So it's really, there's going to be a fascinating story or movie or documentary about Stephen Miller and how he added his take on foreign policy, which he's had since high school. I mean, they played on Jimmy Kimmel.
Did you see those videos? He is a
psychopath. They played videos of him, and it's like,
he is a psychopath.
Horrifying.
Yeah. All right. Well, I mean, Tori, we will have plenty of days to talk about this. But let's get into this really quickly. All right, Tori, have you been following what's going on with the Beckhams?
Yes, very closely.
All right, talk to the people.
Okay, so if you guys don't know, right now, Brooklyn Beckham, who is the son of David and Victoria Beckham, married Nicole Peltz. I don't know if an L is in there or not. And after marrying her, there's been a sharp estrangement of Brooklyn to the rest of the family. And recently, Brooklyn came out with receipts. And this was all in an Instagram post, and it explained why they want to separate, why they don't want to come back from it, including that Victoria Beckham, once she found a wedding dress, Victoria canceled the wedding dress order. And then for their first dance, she came up and danced incredibly aggressively sexually with her son instead of letting Brooklyn dance with his wife. And has pushed.
Wait, say that again.
Yeah. So the first song.
Say it slower.
They're supposed to dance together, their first dance. And instead, Brooklyn said, Mark Anthony comes out on stage and says, Victoria Beckham, come on down. And in her boozed out mind, this is a quote. I'm not saying she was boozed. This is what Brooklyn was saying. She danced up on her own son in this incredibly embarrassing way that made everybody uncomfortable and like grinded on her son, so much so that Brooklyn and his wife would like to redo their vows so that they don't have this uncomfortable memory and redo their memories of how awful they've been treated. Now, this goes on and on and on about some really terrible behavior from Victoria and David. There's video coming out of her not kind of pushing Nicole away from the red carpet, not even paying attention to her, and a ex-assistant of David and Victoria Beckham has come out today and said the truth will always come out. So I believe Brooklyn here. I believe that there's
okay.
Yeah. And she just got in Yiddish written on her under her breast a tattoo that reads "Family First," in some kind of nod to the loyalty that she has with Brooklyn. But it's not really great on Victoria and David and their behavior. And he said there's no interest in them getting back together again at all, this family. And it's very sad to see a family apart like this very publicly, but it's hard to deny the videos when he's trying to bring Nicole into the red carpet and she's like icing him out, canceling her own wedding dress because she didn't like it, and then taking over their first dance. These are just little hints of things that have gone wrong. So it's very, very sad to think, because in my head, I'm like, the Beckhams are super close,
Right. Yeah.
soccer and England and Christmas, and they're all Posh Spice. And turns out there's a lot of control going on from mama to son that is unwanted. And they're standing up and putting up a boundary.
Yeah, I mean, and I think that's something that is new generationally, is just putting up boundaries with your parents. I do want to read what David Beckham said, because we want to have both sides here. David Beckham just basically said kids make mistakes, which is kind of condescending. Your daughter's not a kid anymore. And I just wonder, Tori, do you think that there are more people that just probably need to make the very difficult decision to cut their parents off? Because I have seen on social media a number of accounts where they're just people saying, I no longer talk to my brother. I no longer talk to my parents. A lot of times it's political, but let's say this was political. Do you think that is enough? Or do you think that you fall under the school of, bro, it's Thanksgiving and Christmas. Can you just suck it up and go be with your MAGA dad or your liberal daughter? Or do you think you should never have to subject yourself to any type of, emotional abuse or thinking that you find harmful to yourself? What do you think?
I think when Brooklyn is starting a new family with his wife, he has to protect that first. And although he has incredibly famous parents, boundaries are important. Boundaries, the Buddha would have liked boundaries. I've always listened to Pema on that. And I think this has been, yes, Lucy, I agree with you. I think it's been going on for a very, very long time. And I think of Jeanette McCurdy. I believe that's her name.
Yes, she wrote the book, I'm glad my mom is dead.
Yeah.
I'm glad my mom died. Yeah.
Yeah. And sometimes we talk about our chosen family, and sometimes the people that raised you, you are estranged for a reason, for your protection, for your sanity, for your own self and your new family. And so I'm not saying that I'm proud of Brooklyn Beckham to do this, but I am saying that, like, when you do make boundaries, you can find peace. And if this is the case, he's standing up for himself and his wife. I don't begrudge him that at all. I don't begrudge anyone from doing that. When people emancipate themselves, they have every right to try and live their own life with their own chosen family. So I'm not saying good on Brooklyn Beckham, but I'm also saying, like, this, your parents chose to live a public image. It's fair that you take this publicly.
Right. Well, this is kind of a side note, but you did bring up Jeanette McCurdy, and I was talking with friends about this the other day. It's there was one of the young black she was a young black girl on the show who recently just lost her life. I'm sorry, we weren't planning on talking about that, so I don't have her name. But she was on those Nickelodeon shows. She was apparently unhoused when she lost her life. She was hit by a car 2 or 3 days ago. I look at like somebody like Orlando Brown. You look at Amanda Bynes. You look at Britney Spears. You look at Jeanette McCurdy writing that book. Why has there not been more done to look at why all of these Nickelodeon kids have turned out the way that they have?
Well, there's been
I think that they've been documentaries, but they have not really, like, they just look at look how crazy they are, but like no one, there's a clear genesis, a clear birth where all these kids were so talented. They beat out, think about how many kids that they beat out to be on those shows. Hundreds of thousands.
Yeah.
They could sing, they could dance, they were charming. And all of them, except for Ariana Grande, their lives hit a speed bump that they could not get past.
Yeah. I mean, that's what comes with stage moms and stage dads. And that's what comes with, we're going to do anything to make you famous. That kind of pressure leads to a break in the family when really you just want a mom and a dad. And I see a lot of people in this chat being very honest. I moved away from my family. I got away from my family. And you know what? Bravo. It is not easy to set a boundary with family, but sometimes it is necessary for your own mental health. So I think that the whole way of the Clive Davis age, that Nickelodeon, Disney, Mickey Mouse Club age, not looking out for the kids. Let's just say that was the theme of that generation.
Yeah,
The
you think about what a perfect formula for predation that created, because if you're a predator, you have parents offering up their probably attractive, young, ambitious, precocious child on a platter, saying, sure, take her to your house for extra lessons.
Totally.
You're telling me them parents didn't know?
And you know what's even sad?
Come on, dog.
I agree with you. You know what's even sadder? And we had him on our show. Who is it? The guy, there's two. The two boys from like Stand By Me.
Corey Feldman?
Corey. He said this so many times and people laughed at him. He tried to out the pedophilia ring that he included and alleged Elijah Wood was part of, and these kids were being tortured and mishandled. And Barbara Walters basically laughed. And so it's like they tried to come forward. They desperately tried, the Coreys and other people. And yet
both Coreys. And, I believe it was Corey Haim passed away.
Correct.
Just like, if you saw the sheer number of these children that did not make it to adulthood. And I remember Corey Feldman was talking that there is an island that they take kids to.
Yeah.
And everybody laughed in his face. Then you turn on Netflix and there's a documentary on Abercrombie and Fitch called White Hot. And there was an island.
Absolutely.
Where they were taking boys to. No one made the connection. No one made an apology. They just still continue to laugh at Corey Feldman. And I don't know. I just think maybe it's something that this generation is not ready to address.
Mm-hmm.
But I just think it's very strange that almost all of the young icons that raised, not my generation, I'm a little bit too old, but the generation right underneath me, they've all fallen on hard times to the point where one of them, I think really the only two that really made it out were kind of Kanan and Kel. They've had good careers.
Selena Gomez has a good relationship with
Selena Gomez, yes. Yeah. And Ariana Grande, and the other ones, it seems like they've had a tough go of it. And I just think that has not been investigated for a number of reasons. So I don't know, Tori. I don't know where to go with that. I just think
start believing children when they say they're being molested instead of waiting.
I think sadly it's about who's doing the molestation, because if it's a famous person or a person that's involved with a larger organization, I think that's much more difficult. And I think that's why a lot of these PDF files align themselves with large organizations, because like any system, like your body, you get a cut on your hand, white blood cells come and they defend your system. If you're a single creepy PDF file, you'll be caught and there'll just be a red dot over your house and you'll have an ankle monitor on. But if you're a part of a large organization, the church, the Olympics, they're going to back you up because that looks bad on them.
Totally.
So
agree.
It's a problem, and I cannot believe that it's 2026 and we still have not properly addressed that or taken to task the people that shut down those investigations. There were 2 investigations on Larry Nassar that the FBI just closed. Nothing to see here. How do you sleep at night?
126 girls came forward. It took that many and they still wouldn't believe them. And also with the Epstein
Not even girls, Tori, Olympians.
Yeah, exactly. Like pure athletes. The thing with the Epstein files that really bothers me too is that we still need to see the files, even though all those women have come forward publicly, their faces, their stories. And yet we're like, I'm going to need to see the files. It's like, guys.
Do you think that's part of why we haven't seen it? Because bringing those files out, they're going to have the names of the people that were assigned to handle those and see the huge F up that they did. I mean, would you if you close the investigation on the Olympics and that your name comes out and your name Sergeant Tory is, I don't know why it'd be Sergeant Tory. That sounds like a PG-13 movie that will be on in the afternoon. Sorry, we're going back to the army with Sergeant Tory. But yeah, Detective Shulman said that after interviewing 11 Olympians, she found no credible cause to move forward. Would you want that out there? Would your department want that out there?
Right.
I think there's a number of people, not just the people at the top of the food chain, but everybody down knows that this was a top to bottom intentional F up.
Yeah. And I think that there's, in terms of the Epstein files, there's just so many powerful people, Democrats and Republicans. I am not speaking out as this dumb white liberal that people have said. If Clinton is in trouble with
I shouldn't have texted you that. I'm sorry. Every morning.
If Clinton,
those are my positive affirmations. They don't land well on you, but in the morning I like to say.
I'm like, stop sending this out. It's weird. You send it every morning.
Well, I copy and paste it so it's easier.
But yeah, I think that when princes and presidents are involved in this, it's harder and harder and harder to find the truth. But yeah, someone said I looked hot, so I'm a hot dumb liberal. Thank you.
You look adorable today.
Thank you. I'm wearing green for Greenland. Thank you, Hypernova Steve.
That's a good name. Did he say something mean?
He said Tori's hot.
Oh, good. Yeah.
I need that, man.
I tell Tori all the time. Tori's my sister. I can tell her she looks hot. Yeah, you look very cute today. You look like somebody that's in a college library, and you know, the guys would just go up there and just make up reasons to go to talk to you because no one uses the library. And he's just like, "Where's the section on the 11th president?" And you're like, "Google, get away from me, sir." What would you still go to the library for?
Yeah. I think I would go to the Michigan library all the time, the law library, because of quiet, but people do get reference books still. There's reference books. There's books.
Okay. What about AI? They can't knock that out?
You know, AI is not at this point, I would not trust it as a single source. So I would need a supporting evidence to back up whatever AI said. Have you seen the thing going around where if you ask AI how many R's there are in strawberry, it says 2. And this guy's like, there are 3. And there's a whole fight. And it's like, again, there are only 2 R's in strawberry. And it's like crazy. Wow. So yeah, it's not all the way there. I wouldn't count it as a legit source without a second one.
All right. Well, Tori, I think we need a little bit of joy. So let me find the palate cleanser because we definitely need that. Were you going to say something?
Well, someone's like, Greenland belongs to dumb white liberals. Greenland also is full of Inuits, who are a group of people that are not white and should be considered.
Tori, I don't think you have to address that because in a weird way, I kind of wish it was so that you could write that on a test. Like right after, like, who owns like the Virgin Islands and you know, who owns
Puerto Rico?
Yeah, who controls the territory of Puerto Rico, and Greenland is just dumb white liberals. Yeah. I'd be waiting to get to that just to be able to write that down. Correct. Well, Tori, you know who belongs to me and you and all the people?
Who's
Dolly Parton, the living legend, the gem of our generation. And when I say our generation, just anybody that's alive right now, Dolly Parton is on the Mount Rushmore of my favorite people on the planet. That has not changed.
It's like her and Betty White. They are nationally just beloved.
Gangsters. Beloved. Beautiful gangsters. And you know what they were? They're principled in what they believe. And I really respect that.
Yes.
Yeah. Shout out Betty White. You will live forever. And Dolly Parton is still living. And Tori, she turns 80, which is in a weird way. I thought she was much older. No shade. She doesn't look older. I don't know my life without her. So if it said she was 90, I'd be like, okay. But that's like closer to my mama's age. No shade. Yes. Even though my mom is like 75. But I'm just saying, like, I thought she was like in her early 90s just because I don't know the world without her. And I'm 50.
And she's also having some health issues. Unfortunately, she had to cancel at the Grand Ole Opry for her birthday because of some unknown, unspecified health issues that we're hearing more and more about. I do want to give a shout out to Dolly Parton because many people don't know this. She has the Guinness Book of World Record for giving away the most amount of books of any human on earth. She's given 100 million plus books away. Her imagination library gives any kid from 0 to 5 a free book for every month until they're 5 years old for no cost, in which many of our people in the chat have said they've used for their children. Wow. And when asked on DBL, she was on DBL and interviewed, I asked her the question, why was reading and books, why books? Why are they so important to you that you would give away 100 million plus books? You know what she said, Al? She said, because my daddy couldn't read.
Wow, man. That, and I mean, if you think about the fact that her father couldn't read, how vulnerable that makes you to
Absolutely.
everything, to people saying, "Oh, yeah, yeah, that's I think up until automated kind of cash registers and stuff like that, that was a problem. You just brought up like a weird memory. But I remember I used to go to, when my dad was a lawyer in Cleveland, there's a local chain of donut places called Amy Joy Donuts. And I can still, like, in my mind, I can smell the donuts, and I can go back to probably 1986 being in there. And my dad would always make sure before he left his law office, because that was back when you knew how much everything cost, that he had exact change. Because one day I guess he said that he gave her, like, like when something
Oh,
was like $1.65 and you
you
give
get
somebody
2 5.
2.15,
It's very
just to get
confusing.
like, and he said that, like she broke down because she couldn't do it, and she was the cashier, but
Yeah.
like
Yeah.
math and reading, things that we take for granted, were just things that just were not for a long time, and it allowed people to take advantage of people's salaries. Think
Yep.
about all the contracts that
That you're
incredible
signing without knowing.
musicians, you don't know, because you can't,
Oh,
you think the record label didn't know that insert celebrity in 1963 couldn't read. They're
amen.
fresh off the farm, can play the guitar and dance like nobody's business, but they don't know contract law.
Yeah, absolutely. Absolutely agree with you. And I think she came from, as she calls herself, a hillbilly kind of place. And Barbara Walters' famous interview where she goes, Dolly, you don't have to look like all this. And she goes, I know. I choose to do this because I want to. And Dolly has never strayed from that. She always said she wanted to be this. And here's a cool fact for you guys.
We'll decide if it's cool.
Elvis Presley asked, so I don't know if you know, Dolly Parton wrote I Will Always Love You and Jolene on the same day.
Which
But
is insane,
and she
by the
wrote I
way.
Will Always Love You. And Elvis Presley, the biggest musician of her time, asked for the rights to sing it. And she goes, I don't know why, but I didn't give him the rights. And then came Whitney Houston and came the bodyguard.
Wow.
She said, imagine how much, I mean, it's just she has the right instinct. She wants to help people rise up. She's nothing but good. And I just think she's a national treasure.
That's right. Well,
Yeah,
Tori, you are a national treasure.
I'm not.
And yes, you are. People love you. I love you.
Thank you. Thank
People
you.
like you.
Thank you.
Some people think you're fine. All right, Tori, it's time for this.
People don't like me, and that's okay. Except
Wouldn't it be? I think people not liking you just shows that you have defined edges. That's a good thing. It means that you have a presence. All right, Tori, let's do this. Tori, we need a fact, and it needs to be fun.
okay, are you guys ready?
Hit me.
Okay. Okay, if you were traveling, I don't know if this is very good, but if you were traveling at the speed of light, you could reach Pluto in 4 hours.
Okay, let's do another one.
Okay. I love you, Al. Okay, here we go. Here we go. If you're a man, your smallest cells are sperm cells.
Not mine. Doctor said he'd never seen anything like it. They brought up the doctor's hand because they couldn't believe I could walk.
Should I do one more?
I think so.
Okay. Here we go. Okay. Bananas are slightly radioactive.
Why? Because potassium is positive?
I don't know.
Positive ions?
I don't know.
Okay, so you're just throwing out random shit.
Slightly radioactive.
I think we need one more.
Okay.
But are you looking at some kind of erotic site? All of these kind of have like a weird sexual.
No, they're not sexual. No.
All right, bananas.
Okay. Oh, origin. Oh, that's cool. Okay.
Orgies?
No. Sorry. Going back over here. Here we go. Okay. All right. Here we go.
You're like a woman at the DMV that can't find my license. No, I'm getting it right here.
It's
Sir
coming. Here we go.
Johnson Jackson. I'm on the wrong section. Hold on one second.
So this is what scientists say about crying, which I know my part in this. Scientists say that tears tell you the reason for someone crying. If the first drop comes from the right eye, it's tears of joy. If it comes from the left, it's because of pain.
Is that because of the hemispheres of your brain?
Oh, probably.
Oh, that's interesting.
Isn't that really crazy?
That actually kind of makes sense.
That's really interesting.
Now, what if you're Erica Kirk and they're just fake tears? What side did those come from?
Erica Kirk.
Anytime that you're watching anything, colleagues, and somebody has Kleenex ready and they smash it on their nose, like that's not how Tori and I both cried on TV, and you have to ask for Kleenex because you don't see it coming. No. You don't already have it in your hand like you're playing a shady poker game.
I know.
I'm going to cry on this one.
Have you seen her behind this curtain and we think she's putting in like eye drops or some crazy thing like that?
I don't know. I saw her say that she's continuing her grift and then she changed it to gift. Did you see her that?
Yeah, she was the greatest grift. I mean, gift. But yeah, Jack saw it. They caught her with a dropper backstage, man.
Yeah, it's not working, whatever they're doing. So, guys, let's just keep it going. Oh, and I have something for you tomorrow as it pertains to said Erica Kirk. It's a quick thing, but it's just, have you seen that weird thing that says, what is Erica Kirk doing with her eyes?
Well, there's something going on.
No, I don't. It's like, I think she took acting classes.
Yeah, there's something
trying to trying to emote, and then you like, look, Tori, I love you. And then it's like an extra like
you.
Don't I? It's very weird. And like,
it's
I don't know.
Morning. Like I'm in morning, it's not normal, but
I think it's what happens when you don't hang around normal people. But you know who we hang around, Tori? We hang around these colleagues, and we are in these streets.
Yes, we are.
And we will be here tomorrow. Guys, make sure to smash that like button, subscribe, and come back and see us tomorrow, same time, same place. So on behalf of Tori and Michael Dean, Sar, who's over there doing their work, I've been Al Jackson. Michael Dean, take us out.